cool, and it shows up down here. Oh, that was very cool. I just had to push a button since we had preset it up. Okay, so I
Yeah,
think we're live now. Okay, so
we're getting much better at this. So for later when you're viewing this, we've come up with a whole new system. So we're getting better.
we're getting much better because what was cool was just being able to push like one button, you know,
Mhm.
to make it work. So that was very cool. Hello, everyone. Let me just clean up my desktop while I wait for to show up here. I have everything kind of set up for us today. I'm getting so much better at being super prepared. Hey, DJ. Hey, everyone. How's it going? Can you guys hear the music okay? Or we were having a debate about the sound level. Can you guys hear the sound level?
We always are. We've got some new people that I don't think we've seen before, or maybe you have, but I don't recognize them.
Well, I definitely recognize a couple folks here. And Amanda, I'm so glad you got to come to this one. That you're
Hey,
able to come
Eddie.
lately. Eddie's here. Can you guys hear the music okay? Is it too loud? Let me know before we get to. I'm waiting for a couple folks to come in before we get started. Um, and we'll go from there. But I've got this cool little setup to draw Marco in, so I'm super excited. You hear no music. I am going to hold on. Oh wait, never mind. You can hear me still, right?
Amanda. Yeah, I can hear you. Amanda says I got notifications turned on for YouTube, so hopefully I'll be able to hang out more often.
That's awesome.
And then
I'm glad for that.
I think that's the salute
Okay,
emoji.
cool.
It's kind of hard to tell.
Okay, well, I guess I'm gonna have to pretend that music for me is well. Wait, I don't think Joe could hear it last time either, but I think other people could hear it. So I'm just gonna kind of.
I can't hear it. Um,
I am furious about that.
Josh.
That's the one thing I need to sort out. The one thing I need to sort out is the sound thing, and I think we're like there. We finally got it.
Hmm.
Hey Josh. Hey Joe. Hey everyone. How's everyone doing today? Music is non-existent. No, it's so sad. It's so chill right now. Every time I come on, it's like a different story. Like sometimes it's available, sometimes it's not. You know, I don't know. I don't know why, but whatever. It's a thought that counts, right?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, you know what? I bet I know how. I'm going to try one last thing while we're waiting for a few folks to come in.
Everybody, cover your ears. It's gonna like blare out.
Hold on, let me see. No, that's not right. No, it's not going to blare, I promise. I got it like lowered down. Okay. This is the one thing that stops me from perfection is this. And I
That's
am,
the one thing.
wow. Wow.
No,
Thanks.
I just is that your the
Yeah,
thorn
that's
in
the,
your side?
yes,
That's
that's
the
the,
out of all of the great achievements and things that we've done in the
in the
last
last
couple
couple
of
of
weeks.
weeks.
Whoa,
Whoa,
what is
what is
happening?
happening? Did you hear music all of a sudden?
Yes. I heard myself in like a triple echo or
Okay.
something. It was very
You know
weird.
what? I'm gonna sort this out in another stream. I'm not gonna waste it on this. But I'm getting
It was
closer.
just-
I found a button. I found a button that makes it work, kinda. And so I'm gonna sort it out. I'm sorry. No more. I won't do that anymore. But trust me, I'm just gonna have the music playing in the background so that I feel good about it. So what's that?
look at the comments. I think I'm echoing now.
She's echoing now? Let me see. I returned it to the old one, so you shouldn't be echoing.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. We're good
Yeah.
now.
Ella is fine. Okay. So we're good. Well, now that we're here, hello everyone. Welcome to another week. It's great to see everyone today. So we've got a bunch of um, cool things going on this week. We are Ella and I. The beta itself, we're so excited about because we just had some really good. We're in editing phase for the beta right now. We're so excited about that. And anyway, we're gonna do a how to draw Marco today, and we
I've
did
got my
that.
pad and paper again.
Okay,
I'm a little bit more scared for this one, I think.
I'm scared about it. Marco's the hardest one that I have to draw. I don't know why he's so. There's something very particular about him that makes it difficult for him to draw, but he actually follows a lot of the same principles that I use for Hugo. So it's not. It's just little different details. You know, I
Hmm.
kind of have like my. You know, there's like a certain. I have like certain styles that I do. Like, okay, this is what like teenage boy head looks like, right? Here's a grown woman's head. This is what she looks like. You know, so I'm not super versatile, but I think I like
Hmm.
style regardless. So, um, okay,
I've
ready?
got my
So let me
pencil ready.
switch.
I'm
All
ready.
right,
I'm ready.
all right. So let me switch here. All right. So
I still can't draw
first,
boxes, but I'm here.
okay. Well, first we've got this little. Let me zoom in here just a bit.
Okay, now I can hear the music.
You can hear it now.
Yeah, you like switched over and I can hear it now.
That's so weird. Okay. All right.
But
Whatever.
all right, a win is a win,
Whatever.
right? You know?
I'll take what I can get. I'll take what I can get. I don't know why it's doing that. I think it doesn't matter. I'm just gonna be thankful that it showed up. So, anyways, so if anyone's new here, just joining us, and you haven't subscribed yet to the channel, be sure to do that so you can get these notifications. We'd really appreciate it. And we're gonna do so. If you don't know Marco, if you don't know much about him, I have a little info here on him, so I thought we could share this. And this is from the from the wiki. And if you haven't been to the Flux Destiny wiki, you can go to the fluxdestiny.world, and that will take you to our link tree, and you can find the wiki in there. Hey, Gabrielli, we've been talking about. So we were having a chat about how to properly pronounce his name, and so I think I finally got it. Gabriele. That's what it is, right? Did I get it right? I'm glad he got to join. It's really late where he is, so I finally we were trying to work out how to phonetically say it. So I think I got it right. Gabriele. So Marco is the other half of the protagonist duo, Flux Destiny. He goes by a couple nicknames. Marky, Marco Roni. That was thanks to Mal and Boofy came up with that one, which I loved a lot a while back, and we applied that to it. He's an escape artist. His birthday is in October. His age, he's 16 to 17 in the first book. That's the upcoming book. He is 5'9", and his power, he's a creative karmistry specialist. So that's his type of karmistry. We got a couple of Marcos up here, and just to show you the different things about his hair, I get questions a lot about his hair and why he has these, why we go from long to short. So the scruffy-haired Marco is actually the Marco that we meet in the first book. And as we go down the storyline, and as he and Hugo are on the road, like on the run, you know, he starts growing his hair out, just mainly out of, you know, it's not like they can stop and get haircuts really easily. So that's why you see kind of the scruffy-haired Marco. I always describe Marco in the story as having these intensely green eyes. They're very, in fact, in Fortuna's Rings, when Marco showed up, he was there, of course. Hugo and him have an argument, and Hugo has a hard time during the argument talking to Marco because his eyes can be pretty intense and scary. So That's one of his features, but that's a feature of people from Bravura, one of the countries in the Flux Destiny universe. So, you know, it reflects his heritage. So his whole family has that same kind of eye color. Like Hugo, Marco is 7.5 heads tall, and when we get to the part about drawing a full body Marco, you would use this kind of proportions for him whenever we do that. The same for Hugo, and he actually follows a similar proportion to Hugo in terms of how his face works. You know, his eyes are smaller. I feature his eyes smaller than Hugo's, but his face generally takes the middle third of his head. So he and Hugo have a similar proportions on how their head works, if you guys recall. And I know several of you did an awesome job with with Hugo on the last live stream when we did the how-to. Ella, I was very impressed.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was.
I'm gonna try to do good again. I need to practice between lives, I think.
I think you should, because I think you're very talented. So we got a question.
Aww.
We got a question about Marco's home country. So Marco is actually the first of his country of his family born in Fortuna. So technically, Fortuna is his home country, but Bravura, where his family is from, is kind of this. You can think of it kind of like a. It's kind of like it's like Spain. I would look at it that way. It's like contemporary Spain in this world.
Mm-hmm.
And so his whole family is, shares similar features. Okay, so we're gonna start drawing Marco's head. So it's the same principle that we did before. So you ready? I see you rolling up your.
Yes.
I see you rolling up your sleeves. You ready for this?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm gonna draw it bigger this time, so hopefully it goes smoother, so I can actually like erase and stuff.
You drew his. Yeah, you did draw it very tiny. I think a lot of people drew it
super
very
tiny.
tiny.
Well, for some reason I was like, maybe we'll do multiple Hugos or something. So I was leaving room, but then we really focused on one, and I was messed up from then on.
Yeah, it's hard to. The thing is that, first of all, I'm not a very fast artist, but secondly, when I'm teaching, I have to like show every piece of how it works.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do a face similar to. We're gonna do a pose kind of similar, probably to this one, because this is simple to do, right here. It's always kind of like the 3/4 profile, and we'll do that and see how that works. That's the easiest to do. I'm not gonna do anything crazy like upward like this, or that's
Okay.
too much. So we'll start from there. Okay, so get your pencils. Everyone have your pencils or your stuff ready. So your digital stuff. So when we begin with Marco, we always, with any character, at least for me, is that I always start with that cube. And I'm sorry. Make sure you can see it. Okay, you can see it. I like to use the cube method because it helps me position the head and do it helps me get the proportions of the head, but it also helps me get the direction of the head and all the place. So, oh, by the way, I forgot to say hi to Jacoby. I think I missed him, and a happy late birthday, a day off. I sent you a birthday text. I don't know if you saw it, Jacoby, but I sent you a birthday text on Sunday. So, okay. So we're gonna start with the cube. You guys see that? Okay. So if we want to have that similar kind of, and I say cube, it's more like a cubish rectangle. So if we're gonna have Marco staring in this direction, you can already kind of imagine what I'm doing here. Hey, Liv. Liv is Marco's number one fangirl, so we got to make sure we give him the proper.
Marco, right? Yeah.
We got to give him the proper treatment today for her. So we got this, and remember when we did the proportions earlier. So I'm gonna do the midline here. This is kind of the middle of where the middle of his face is gonna be, And then we're gonna do where the center line is. Evenly divide it here. And then what I like to do is I'll have another line here. This is where the ear is going to end up on here. So when I do all this structure, the ear usually will attach at this little point and go like this, right? So you'll know where to position it. And to help you, I also to help me with the proportions, I do this. I kind of do this. This is where his eyes are going to be in this. Oh, hold on. Sorry. Didn't do the proportions right. Since we're dividing it kind of in thirds, I'm going to do thirds would be like right here and right here. So kind of this is where his right. So when we look at remember with Hugo, we had Hugo's face, his eyes, his nose, and his mouth usually fit within the middle third, with the jaw and the forehead taking up the other 2/3. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm creating the proportions. Oh, thanks, Jess. Hello, Jess, by the way. I don't know if I got to tell you hi. Okay, so we've got the framework, right? So now what I'm going to do is lighten this a bit. I know that some of you drawing on paper are not going to have this benefit of drawing on a different layer, but I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do about that, but that's why I like to do digitally. Now I start drawing the head.
Good.
Yeah, so that's the good thing about drawing when you draw with paper. Actually, what's great about drawing on paper is that you get way more skilled. And the reason being is that you can't afford as many mistakes. And so it forces you, especially when you're drawing with pen. I actually like to sketch with pen. There's something about sketching with pen that I can't erase that makes me more free. You know, I feel more free about what I'm doing. Okay, so now we're gonna start building his head, and what I like to do is I'll draw the skull up here, this part of the head. We can see where the goes here. His ear will always go. Remember this cross right here we did? The ear comes off from there, so we'll have the ear come out like that. Right? Right? It does. It makes you think a lot more about it, doesn't it? It just like, if you see my sketchbooks, I love to, some of my best work is when I'm sitting there just sketching ink. And it's because I have to think of it ahead of time, and then I have to kind of just go with it, you know, if it doesn't work. Okay, so then we've got that. Then another thing that you'll see me with digital art too is that I can make adjustments, you know, that normally you can't do on paper. So I have kind of the benefit of that on this. Then here the center line. Remember this. So this is right here is where the jaw, the center of the jaw. So we swing it back up, so connecting, and then detail in the ear here. This is my style of ear, so you don't have to do that style, but kind of how my style is. So we're coming back around just to kind of shape up the head a little bit. Okay, now we're going to start working on where the nose is. And what I like to do is I like to kind of draw imagine the contour of the face a little bit, so that it helps me position everything. You don't have to draw this. You can draw it lightly with pencil, and then later you can change it, or you can erase it. But it helps me kind of know where the lips and the contour of the faces. You see how I did that?
Mm-hmm.
I just start imagining where the contour is going to be, but all that detail is not going to stay there when I, in fact, that's actually on a different layer. So you see I have it on a different layer right now. It's just there to help me know where it is. Next, I start drawing the hairline, and when I draw the hairline, you know, Marco's hairline you're not going to see much because it's hidden under all his, you know, scruffy hair. But what I do is I put the hairline there so I know where it is, so I know where to attach the hair, right?
Right.
Hey, Dante. So, in fact, I'm going to do a little quick adjustment here because I made his head a little too wide, but it's not a big deal.
I know my Marco's head is very wide.
Yeah, see that?
I
See
need
what
to
I
move
just...
his ear over.
It's okay. I mean, when you're sketching, that's what's going to happen. And see, I was able to do that digitally. Just squash it a little bit to fix it. It's rare that you're going to be... I mean, unless, you know, some people are just really amazing. I'm not, but... Okay, so that's a little more like it. So you see, now we still have the head contained right in the square, in the cube. And actually, I'm going to give the cube a different color so we can see it stand out again. So make it blue so we can see the containing sphere here. But do you see how I'm following the proportions that I was showing earlier? It's like if we look at, you know, those proportions are so important because they that's how you end up drawing the same character all the time, is when you or your design looks similar, is that you have to set your proportions. You have to decide what your character proportions are and stick with it. And so for me, this is generally the proportion I use for teenage characters, is this one, right? You know, adult characters who are probably in their 30s and up, like late 20s and up, the proportions will start changing even more to be more symbolic of their age, you know, so they look less innocent when you do that, you know?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we're back to our Marco here. Now we're going to start putting the eyes. Now, when I zoom in here so you guys can kind of see this mess right here. This, if you notice this block right here, so these blocks right here, this and this are where the eyes are going to go, right? But it's not going to take the whole space, right? You got to work within that space, because if I were to take that whole space and draw his eyes, they would be like crazy. They would be huge. It would be like crazy anime eyes. It'd be just gigantic, and he would be out of character. So what I normally have to do is I have to, I guess, pun intended, eyeball it personally. I mean, I could probably put some. I hate puns, but I'm sorry. I just gotta. But if I were to divide this line even, this area of the cubes even more, here I'll put a guide. I would what I would do is I'd probably say this. I'd probably divide it into thirds again to indicate Marco's, where his eyes can fit. So his eyes are going to fit basically kind of in this space here. In this right here. This area here and this area here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you see how I've cut up that area some more, because the space between the nose, the distance of the nose, this is something that you can pick stylistically what you want to do. The more space you put, the character looks very different. So if we look right here, look at how Hugo's eyes are. He has kind of a small space between his eyes. This is probably half an eye between them, and it makes his eyes look really big, right? And that's generally the shape I've been using, the proportion I've been using here. Even this one, Marco's eyes are almost an eye apart here too, so you can see he looks a little more mature when you do that, right?
Yeah.
So with Marco here, we're gonna kind of do the same. We're gonna do this. Oops. Take this out. Okay, now we're gonna start drawing his eyes. So we're gonna draw typical, you know, if you want to draw Marco who's kind of like not having it right now, you can kind of do this. Like eye rolling Marco, we could do this. And the eyebrows are everything. You know, what you do with the eyebrows can completely change the expression that he's doing. If I were to do this, like obviously this is one expression, right? If I did this. But if I were to do this and change the angle of the eyebrows, it's a completely different expression, but it's the same eyes, right? So the way you use the eyebrows are really important. Those 2 lines on his nose add so much charm to it. The 2 lines. Are you being sarcastic and making fun of me, Dante? Are you joining the?
No, I think the one he's talking about, the more rendered one, that I was thinking the same thing. It's got lines across his nose, almost like.
Oh, this right here. Oh, you mean those 2 lines? These right here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sometimes especially when I'm drawing them from the front, like a complete just front view of the character, I'll add those kind of like, that's a thing that you'll see like a lot in anime and other things where they'll put, you know, those 2 lines there. It just kind of, you know, I like that. I do that a lot with mine. Okay, so we're back to Marco here. So we're gonna make him like not, he's just like, oh my god, I can't believe I just heard Chris tell a pun. Right? Gabriele knows what I'm talking about, right? By the way, you need to see Gabriele's work. It's really awesome. I kind of geek out about his work all the time. Yeah, the noses are boring without that little area. I don't know what you call it. It's just kind of like these little strokes that you put there, and it makes such a difference. Okay, so now that we've got his eyes here, and you see how I'm just being like really, I'm not getting too caught up with the sketch art looking pretty. It's just like get stuff generally in the place you want it. Then we're gonna go back here and start fixing his nose. So let me.
I still think I started this too small.
It's okay. You can start again.
I'll learn one day. I'll watch this again and I'll make it bigger.
So when I do the noses, I kind of do something like this. I draw like a triangle it's not really even a triangle. It's kind of a weird shape like this. I don't know what you call that shape, but I'll do a shape like this to kind of help me position the nostril. And Marco and Hugo have a similar noses. I know Gabriele does the same thing. We both kind of have this like thing we do with the noses that I really that we both like to do. They're kind of like button noses. I don't know how else to describe them. So I'll put that. I erase these kind of areas here so we can start getting the Marco's nose in. How are you doing, Ella?
I'm doing okay. He's not. I think at this point in my last drawing with Hugo, he started to look like Hugo. This does not quite look like Marco, but it's not terrible. Just doesn't quite look like Marco yet. And maybe the hair will come in and fix it all. I don't think I got his eyes. His eyes are tricky, you know?
We'll get it, and we'll take a look at yours, and then once you send it to me.
Oh yeah, do we have to?
Well, only if you want to. And what I'll do is I will show you kind of fixes you can do.
Okay.
Okay. So now we're gonna start working on. Oh, good, Jade. I'm glad you're drawing bigger. Hey, I didn't see you this time. I didn't see that you were in. I'm glad you're here. Yeah, kind of like an upturned a little bit. Okay, so let's now go to doing. Even I'm already seeing now that I think they do a little adjustment. And again, it's not fair for you guys because I can make little adjustments. So see, once I start taking off the cube, you can see how it's helped me. You know, you can see how it's starting to turn on. Let's put a little mouth in here now. And I'm just gonna put a simple like, oh, hold on, terrible. I'm just gonna make a frown like, it's like, oh my God, what am I listening to? Can't believe we're listening to him talk. So Ella, I'm gonna let you pick the hairstyle. Are we doing scruffy Marco hair or are we doing ponytail?
I don't think I could. I don't think I'd survive the ponytail.
Okay.
If I
All right.
can't, Chris, if I can't draw a cube, you want me to draw
Oh my
like
gosh. Okay. All right. Fair enough.
No, I'm being serious. I think I think I need to practice drawing cubes. You go through it so elegantly and so fast, and then I like look up and you're halfway done with like the structure of the head, and my cube is always like tilted upwards. It's
Oh my
like
gosh. Someone commented on one of my videos earlier, like, oh, please keep teaching. And I always felt like I was the worst teacher because
no,
I
you're
don't
doing
know.
good.
You know,
I'm definitely getting it. It's just it's like it's like a Hugo or sorry, it's like a Marco from like a dimension that like you kind of recognize him. That's what I'm starting to get at. It's like a
awesome.
alternate world Marco.
Okay, so let's go with scruffy hair Marco now. So we've got his general head. Oh well, let's add before I forget. Let's add the earrings. Marco's form of karmistry requires him to use earrings. You know, Hugo has the big Horus that he wears on his chest. Marco has 2 earrings, and so we'll just attach those right here. Obviously, you can't see the other right now. Okay.
I couldn't see this one very well. I think it was a little bit below your screen.
Oh, I'm
but
sorry.
That's okay.
All I did was attach it to
It's okay.
to that. Unlike Kazuo, who I give him like this lobe, a much bigger lobe, because he's got the double flared gauges in his ears. Marco doesn't require that. Okay.
Oh no, these look like hoops. Oh no.
It's totally fine. Just don't get too caught up with.
Okay. Okay.
Here's the thing too. If you get too caught up with the structure, you will also look very stiff. Here's the pros and cons of the structure. The structure helps you generally locate where everything is. If you get too rigid with it, your work will look rigid, right? It's meant to be a guide, not like it has to be exactly this many pixels or whatever, because otherwise it'll look really rigid, you know?
Yeah.
So when we go up here and look at Marco and we see his various ways he holds up his hair, it's also something symbolic or characteristic of his character that he hides behind his bangs through a lot of the story, especially at the beginning. His eyes are always poking out from his bangs, and there's a lot of like shame and humiliation he feels about things that have happened to him, and the hair is kind of his way of hiding while he still kind of lives his life. So when we look at his hair from a structural standpoint, there's like there's chunks to it. You build it in chunks. You've got like this in the scruffy mode. Let me put a little thing up here so I can kind of break it down for you first, and then we'll go do it on the model. So when I take his current hair, can you see this, Ella? You see what I'm doing? I'm about to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna just show you guys the general shapes of his hair. We've got these kind of big areas. We've got this thing, which is this middle piece right here. We've got this chunk, which is its own kind of like, I don't know what to call these. It's like, it looks like the state of New Jersey or something. I don't know. I don't know what it is. This is the exact haircut I had in the 90s, was this haircut. It's kind of like, it's hard to draw it. And then you've got this side, you've got this other chunk here, which is another kind of like, I think it almost looks like the country of Jordan or something. I don't know how to explain this shape. And then finally you have, so you've got these three chunks in the front, and then you've got this other part, which is this big mass in the back, which is the main part of the, the bulk of his hair.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got usually a flyaway right here. There's this kind of flyaway here. So, yeah, Dante, actually, it's hard, but not. Like, it depends on the character, right? Do you know whose hair is really easy to draw? Who actually has a really well-designed hair is like Edward Elric is really, really easy to draw his hair because he's got those two like nacho chips in the front that are kind of like dog ears that hang in the front. And then the rest of his hair is really round because it's tied back into that braid in the back. So his is actually relatively easy. But if you break it down into chunks, when I did, think of them like, if you've ever seen like a doll, like a Barbie doll or something, you can kind of see the, you can see where the hairline is and how the chunks of the hair fit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Trapezoids. Okay. That's right, Jade. Liv, I was saying earlier that his hair, well, all these are canon. It just depends on where he is in the story. So right here, we're looking at 16-year-old Marco, this one. And so we'll see what his hair looks like this. And then as he gets older, his hair gets longer because he's on the run in the story. Okay. So we've got our trapezoids here, our nacho chips, our state of New Jersey, whatever chunks here. So we've got these 5 distinct chunks. So when we go here, and this is where I want to kind of point this out for Jade. I'm sorry, for Dante when he was talking about how it intimidates him. Let's start with here. So I've kind of faded Marco's head a bit so we won't get distracted with the lines. But I like to start with that middle chunk right here because it kind of sets the tone of where his, kind of sets where his hair is going to be. So we kind of set the first chunk. And you can kind of generally change this chunk depending on, what his mood is, or what the wind is doing, right? I kind of generally do this chunk here.
How do you know where to stop it at the top?
So I draw characters with naturally fluffy hair, right? So their hair is usually pretty big.
Mm-hmm.
So it just depends on the amount of fluff you want to put into it. I put it about, I eyeball this. I don't know how to explain it.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I don't know how to explain this one.
You just had to be there.
You just
gotta know.
Right. So we've got that. Then we've got this other chunk of hair that comes out from here. Right? This is the other bang in the front. I'll wait for you guys to catch up. In fact, if you wanted to go through, like if you wanted to analyze this, there's this like trapezoid shape right here. You could take this front chunk here, this 3 pieces, and like break them into one big trapezoid that you cut out of, Then we've got another trapezoid here, which is the other kind of bang down like this. And if you want to put a little flyaway, I used to call these sincerity hairs when I was a kid. And I called, oh, that's not a good position. Like it's coming. I used to call them sincerity hairs because characters in movies always get dramatic when their hair falls, you know, it's in their face. You always have like the strands of hair. That's so that was just my stupid name for it. See, like, look how sincere I am. My hair's falling all over my face right now, and I'm like,
aw.
hey, look.
Yeah, you're very sincere.
Very sincere, very dramatic.
I like this because it hides my bad eyes.
Yeah, so you can hide. It's actually, you can hide a lot of your work behind hair too. Being honest. Finally, we start getting into the back piece, the back trapezoid, and we kind of do this. When I do it, I'm going to change the color because you can see the difference. I draw it I kind of make it do this shape. I don't know how to explain it because it's really poofy. So we're going to set the back hair like this. And this is normally where you're going to draw any hairs that are going back. So here's the hairline right here. And this is where hair being pushed back is going to go, starting from the hairline. So do you see? I want to make sure you see this, Ella. See this right here? That's like dark line. That's where his hairline is. So when we draw his hair that swoops back, we start from the hairline and we pull it back like this. Right? Now in a minute, you'll see what I'm going to do because I'm going to kind of play around with this a bit and clean it up. It's just kind of guidelines for me. So now we have this general shape for him, for his hair. And what I would normally do is I would take this hair, so you can see I can change the opacity here, and I would start working on cleaning this up personally. The way I do it is I would use that as a guide, and I would start, okay, now this is, you have to kind of watch this and then apply it. So I'm going to start, you see how it's a general shape for his hair? See how I kind of start drawing over those chunks like that. I start adding little fringes and stuff. And fly away. And then it kind of curves into here. And start building. Fluffy hair, so I start taking once I take the guides out, it looks a little more and normally what I would do around this stage is I would start making any adjustments. You're not going to really be able to do this on paper because this is me doing digital work. But I would start making adjustments like, okay, this jaw is not really right. So I would start adjusting it a little bit. Oh. Adjustment here. This ear needs a little work here. Hold on. One sec. You can see why Marco is a little more complicated than Hugo to draw.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it. I don't know how to explain what makes him, you know.
No, he's looking like Marco. Mine's definitely looking like He's looking like Marco.
Okay, good. So we've got his head here. You know, the good thing about this kind of hair is that, once you start erasing, see what I'll do is I'm gonna put a little thing here to hide his, the lines under the hair. Hold on a second. Wherever that is. So when I start hiding the hairlines and the headline, you can see start hiding all this, and it'll look more like him. See, once you erase those guidelines, it starts looking better. Then I can go in here and start. I can go in here and start cleaning this up. So now I've kind of got this general Marco face. We're cleaning this up now, and you'll see how the difference will be once I clean. How's everyone doing, by the way? Anyone who's trying? How are you feeling now, Ella? Are you feeling more like it?
He's looking okay. The back of his head is a little wonky, but
It's totally fine.
But no, yeah, I think that if you look between this one and my Hugo drawing, you would say this is definitely Marco, Um
Okay,
so
that's good to hear.
I think we're getting better. We're getting I was concerned, but I think it's getting there.
Okay. That's good to hear. So I'm going to just do a quick little cleanup of this to show you how I would clean this up. So now that I have this like general guide of how it works, I would then start kind of cleaning up his head. And this is again very difficult for me to like put into words. Oops. It's something I do because I know how it's going to look. I know how he has to look. So I make adjustments as I go. But if you're just making fan art and stuff, you don't have to worry about these going too far with the details. So we've got, as I mentioned to you before, I always do the I'm doing a fast cleanup too. I'm not going to be very accurate with this. I always try to make the I don't know what else to call it, but eyeliner. It's not really eyeliner, but they get darker color for the eyeliner at the top and on the back of the eyes. Hey, Katie. Oh, I can't wait to see your Marco, Jade. Oops. Okay. Now, when I do the nose, I start getting rid of detail when I do the nose. So I don't keep a lot of the lines. I just keep really just kind of the nostrils and a little indication of where the top of the nose is. But I don't usually draw a lot of the detail. I'm sorry, I'm just cleaning up. I'm really not fast, I promise. This is just because I wish I was as fast as you think I am. Oops. Plus, I'm not really doing a real cleanup. I'm just... kind of doing a down and dirty little thing here. If you remember the way... Oh, I'm cleaning up and you can't... when you see his ears, when I draw the ears in general, I kind of do that. You know, you've got the little flap here, the little ear flap. You've got this inner section here, and then I draw the ear first, and I start drawing these little details. This is just my particular style. Some people go nuts with ear detail, and I find that the more detail you put in the ear, the more realistic your drawing looks. This is kind of my, like, if I were to set a realism scale between, some people do kind of these donut ears like this. Oops. Some people do like a donut ear, and this one being on the scale of like super cute, super stylized, all the way to ones that are like super detailed. Like I would say mine is like probably 50%. Oh, thanks, man. I'm glad you like it. I'm pretty proud of my ears. If there's one thing I've like come up with that I'm really happy with is, look at those. Like they want to be grabbable, right? Like I always feel like the ears are not grabbable to hurt. It's not like I want to hurt the characters. I want to grab them because they're just like cute ears, and so you want to grab them. And so this drawing of Hugo shows the ear style that I use. It's not like a ugly wreck of a drawing that I'm doing right now, but you can kind of see that. But I'm glad you like the right amount of stylized. Because that's what I struggled with, that a lot. Was like, well, how much detail do I put in the ear? Because sometimes it was too cartoony, you know? And at the same time, I didn't want to go into this like crazy designed ear at the same time. I'm glad you like it.
Okay, I'm gonna send a photo to you.
Okay. So let's get back to this little drawing here while I'm waiting for yours. Got Marco's face. I'm gonna go and start cleaning up his hair. Oops.
I feel like it looks better in person than it will in this photo, but I'm ready, I think.
Okay.
It's hard because I can't clean up, and my pencil, the one pencil I own in this home, is like very dull, so not very sharp.
That is totally fine. By the way, the amount of scruff you put in the hair I always battle that too. Because sometimes I put too much and it looks like he just woke up. And so you have to kind of, you have to be careful how much scruff you put in there. Okay, so Ella sent it to me. We're about to take a look at hers. Let me just finish cleaning up mine.
I think it looks better in person than it will in this photo.
Okay. Finish up his hair here, the little bump here in the back. And then his hair, I forgot to mention earlier, I should have said it. It does, his neck would be right here, right? And so when you draw his neck, it does, there's like little, what do you call these? Like it sticks out the back too. His hair sticks out the back. I don't know what you call that.
His yeah.
His, whatever this is, I don't have it because my hair's cut short, but like this, you can see it here. You can see it here. And when it gets even longer, he's got it like trailing in the back. So these little details here. So we've got head here, and we're going to finish out the details. I kind of have his hair swooping back and tucking behind his ears. So I kind of have them tucking behind the ears here. That's a Marco head. Then I'll add, I will add the chin shadow here, the neck chin shadow. And it's okay to draw. So it depends on what you want to do. If you want to show the style, like if you want to show the expression and a character has a lot of hair like Marco does, it's okay to have the eye kind of poke out stylized wise. Like, you can see Marco's eye here, even though the bang is in front of his eye, and that's okay. You can keep doing that. That's a stylistic choice. You can do that, or you can, if you want to hide his eye, you can do that too. See, if I hide his eye, the drawing changes a lot. So if I do this, see, now he looks very different just by whiting out the eyes. So you can't see, a lot of his expression is hidden behind the bangs, and that's okay. That can be stylistic. You can do that if you want. And then now Marco is taller than Hugo. But what's interesting is that I think later in the story they almost even out. Oops. Marco's finish out the. And this line right here, this line, I forget what this ligament is called, or tendon or whatever. There's one that goes up to the ear. I kind of do this on the neck. I'll put it here. And here's the collarbone. And so there, now we've got a Marco. Got a Marco. Hugo does get taller. Hugo does get taller in the story. He starts off 5'6", 5'7", and then he grows. Katie, I just love when you show up and just throw shade from the stand. You're from the bleachers. Katie will come in and like I don't know who's worse, like her or Josh, because they'll go and get what's it called? They'll pick on something I say and then like hold it against me for like 3 days. You know? I think this one turned out pretty cute. And then what I would probably do is we're about to look at Ella's now, but with the detail that I've put in here, like this is kind of more of like a cute, like stylized Marco.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, depending on the kind of Marco I want to do, that is the amount of detail I'll put. Obviously, these are different. These are very like here. When I do teeth, for example, I love to do. Well, let me get rid of this. I love to do the center tooth. I don't know why. I like to put the dividing line between. There's just something satisfying about that. Sometimes I'll put the little cheek. I don't know if Gabriele is still on, but we talked earlier about the nose, the bridge of the nose, having those lines. I don't know what you call these cheek lines. I sometimes do the cheek lines on there too. Oh, he's still on. Okay. So, you know, I'll sometimes put a little, if you want to put some, what's it called? So the skin tone looks different for a reason. I knew someone was going to say that earlier, because that, this Marco here, the one in the middle, is before his new, it's not just the lighting, it's the, his palette was, these two on the sides are his official palette. This is his last version of his palette. And it's been since officialized as right here. So that's kind of why he looks different.
Yeah, he needed a tan.
Well, this one right here.
That's why he was out in the sun.
That's why
he needed a tan.
Well, this one right here, this particular one, in the middle, the one from the beach, is the flat version. It doesn't have all the like tanning and stuff on it. If I brought the tan version in after I put all the effects on his skin, you would see a difference. This is kind of like the without the effects look, and it would more closely match the others. But I didn't put it, I left it out so that you could see more of the line details. Because you can see more of the line details of how I did this. Oh, thanks, Mal. I love doing profiles like this. Anyway, okay. So I'm just going to do a quick little shading of Marco's head, just so we can kind of see that. Ella, I'm about to pull yours up in a second. Let me just do this.
Okay.
I love seeing you. You don't give yourself enough credit. I think it's super cute.
Oh, well, thank you.
So let me take a look at this. Yeah, I'm about to pull it. Anyone else who wants to share? I guess Ella have them put it in Discord, right?
Yeah, if you send it to me on the fan art channel in our Discord, I will grab it.
So here's a little shading here, and you can shade with your pencil if you want. Sometimes I'll shade a little bit up here because now you'll see what a difference the shading. I'm about to pull Ella's up, so we're gonna see what it looks like. Once I start putting the shading here, you see it starts making the image starts changing dramatically once I start putting the shading. Chris, you have was it harder for you to do this stream or the Hugo one, and why? I actually kind of resigned to be like, I'm just gonna go with this. Because last time I was super like, Ella's been very good at getting me to just like relax and go, because I didn't like sketching in front of people. I would say the Hugo one was harder because I was like, okay, I'm gonna draw a Hugo, and there's this expectation I have, and I know that people who like Hugo, that he looks a certain way, and I was like, I don't want to disappoint them.
No, Chris, I genuinely think that you are a very, very good artist. You know, I don't think that you give yourself enough credit. I think that you're very good, and we want to learn from you. We want to learn how to make these characters that we like so much because they're so unique.
I appreciate that a lot. I really do. I think a lot of artists go through that where, you know, my other artists here with me, I'm sure, feel the same way about, you know, you see your stuff and you're like, oh, this is terrible. It doesn't look good, or whatever. That's just I think a normal artist feeling. Okay, before I show Ella's real quick, and thank you, Ella, for saying that. I appreciate that. You can put a little shadow right here just to make the look a little more, you know, Poochie, like he's like, oh my god. So there you got Marco. And then now let's take a look at what Ella did. All right. Oh, that's really cute, Ella. You drew it so tiny. You drew it so tiny.
He's across half of my page. But yes, that's my problem, I think.
Okay, so let's see. This is Ella's Marco. And I don't think she's giving herself enough credit. Let me try to get it in the right. About right. There.
Yeah, I took it at kind of a weird angle. I'm sorry.
Hold on, let me adjust the color so we can.
Marquito.
Marquito.
Oh, that's so good. That is so good. I'm telling you, I think it looks a little bit better in person because it's not quite so, like, in the picture, you know how pictures kind of compress stuff?
Right.
He looks a little thin, but my drawing doesn't quite look like that. Like, he's bigger on the page.
Yeah, but look how okay, look. You did that on paper, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I had the advantage of like all the like digital manipulations I could do to fix Marco, and even
years
with that,
of experience,
you know, and and that too. Obviously, it's my character, so I take it for granted. But you drew that on paper, and look how good that turned out. That's super cute. It turned out good.
Thank you.
So, Marquitoroni. That's going to be his name, Marquitoroni. Anyone else want to share their Marcos?
I did the back of Marco's head a little bit different than you did. I kind of finished mine before you cleaned up, you know.
Oh, okay.
His little points back there.
I'm going to show you a little something. Earlier, you were saying that you were worried about how to draw Marco's ponytail, or you're like, that's going to end you. I'm going to show you how easy that is. I can literally, all it is the back is different. Because if you look here, this is the same. The front is still the same. It's just tied back in these. So if you look at these different Marcos, even this one, like look at this one. This one, Marco's hair is basically the same in the front. It's just tied into a little ponytail in the back. And so if I were to take this drawing and turn that into ponytail Marco, yeah, Jade, I want to see your Marco. If we wanted to see what that, I would do this. Hold on. And you see why it's like we don't. It's hard to have the amount of time to be able to draw. Like I knew I wouldn't have time to draw full body Marco this time. Because it's just a lot to teach how to do this, and then to... I didn't erase it, I just did this on another layer. Okay, so what I would do is I would just take the back of his head and more like this, and then I would tie... He wears the ponytail, you know, kind of like right here. It's not down. You can put it in 3 positions, right? You could put it at the top, in the middle, you know, or down like at the very bottom. He wears it kind of like right. So, okay, Jade, I'm about to show you. I'm about to show you. I haven't seen it yet. I'm about to pull it up. Did you find it?
Yeah, I was gonna send it to you.
Oh yeah, if you could send it to me in Slack. Okay. And then here. His little ponytail would just come out right around here. That's it. You know.
Oh, that's cute.
See, it's not that hard to... Actually, it's probably pretty big. I need to shrink it. It's not that big. Come on.
I actually like it pretty big. That's pretty funny.
You like the big one?
Well, it just was very cute. Maybe I'm just like a sucker for...
No,
that's that was cute too. They're both cute.
But you see, and then what you would do, I'm glad you like, because all we would do is just then make the little flyaways here, see? So he makes it, he wears it the same way in the front. It's just this big mess in the front. And then the back is just actually easier because you just turn it into this rounded thing here. And then you just draw it. So it's just, I don't know. Oh, you see that, Dante? See? It just came to life. It's my magic. By the way, I don't know if you hear my dog coughing.
We do.
Okay. That was my dog. I was like, I hope they can't hear this. My dog is coughing.
Cute.
Marco's not mean. Marco's not mean. Just misunderstood. Okay, let's see Jade's version now. So let me see what a little shading could do. Oh, I'd like to see that, Mal. I think that'd be fun. We should do that sometime. All right, let's see Jade's version. Oh, this is good. Look at this. Bentley, my dog, is like 14 years old now. He's like 14, 15.
Oh, he's an old guy.
Old man. Yeah, he's a little old man. Okay, so here's Jade's version. Let me adjust the colors. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you liked it. No, don't be embarrassed.
Yeah, I really like this one.
It's really good. Okay, I'm gonna fix the color so we can see it. One.
Jade, you always one up me with like I think the angle.
Yeah, I don't think Jade's giving enough credit to himself because look, we go here and look at this. Look, remember this looks like you're drawing it on paper, so this was not easy, right? So it's not easy, but look, you did really well. And by the way, you guys are just watching me like do this really quickly. Yeah, it is really good. I think it's really good. I mean, they're doing it quickly, watching me on a live stream, doing this super fast. You know,
you are going very fast, but that's okay.
Doing it fast, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not like this fantastic teacher. So the little blush that goes below the ear, the little blush. The little bush. Oh, bush. Yeah, the little. The only thing that's missing, like he's saying, the bush that goes. He's talking about the hair that goes.
I know. Well, I started to turn mine in before he finished all the details with the neck and stuff. I'm scared of like. See? I guess I could do it without the neck.
You can easily draw the neck. Look. I just connected your neck for you. There. Oh, his neck is a little thin there. Hold on. There. Line here. And then we'll do the little See? Yeah, see, I see what you're talking about, his forehead. So that would be my only comment, would be that his forehead is a little smaller on yours. But like you said, it's probably because of the way you handled the cube and the proportions. Actually, if this were digital, you could just move the eyes down. If I did this, hold on. You could shrink these eyes right here. I'll show you this. If I shrunk the eyes a little bit and moved them down, you could actually probably correct the size of the forehead. So, you know, that's just one trick you can do. That comes with practice. The proportion stuff comes with practice, because when I used to do the super cute, like I still, you know, the cause effect stuff that some of you guys know about my really old webcomic that I used to do, I used to draw these like super cute. Hold on, let me find it. Find this real quick.
Yeah, Josh asks if we're gonna do characters. Sorry, while you're finding this real quick. We're probably gonna try to do lots of the main characters. So, yeah, stick around for future lives where we draw other characters.
Yeah, absolutely. Yo, absolutely. Well, let me find it. I used to do this webcomic. I'm trying to find it. Okay, so let's see. So this is a little webcomic I used to do a long time ago, and you can see the proportions, how I had to really relearn. I had to change the way that I drew, because I ended up drawing stuff that was super cartoony proportioned, and it's hard to break from that what do you call it, habit, because I would draw, you know, like this, like these super cartoony proportions is how I used to do it, right? And so I had to learn. You can still kind of see that in some of my work today, but I have the hardest time breaking out of this, you know? And so going from that to this was very difficult, personally.
Yeah.
And you can kind of still see it. Sometimes if the character's not looking right, it's too, I know that I've gone too cartoon. Oh, he's asking about, you didn't know about this webcomic. This webcomic is from many years ago. And so I used to do, this is how I first came on the scene, was doing these webcomics. And the amount of work of this, so I'm trying to find another. You can kind of see the, the name of this webcomic was called Cause Effect, and it was about this group of squirrels in a rock band who like fight evil rock stars. So this was the style. This is very 2000s, okay? So this is around the time I was developing Flux Destiny a long time ago, was when I was first doing this style. So, anyway, one day I will reboot it.
But you've got to draw Hugo as a squirrel now.
I have to do it. I have to do it. I actually drew Hugo as a mouse one time, but I need to draw him as a squirrel this time. So anyways, so that's that. Any other questions or thoughts, Ella? I thought this was kind of fun to do.
Yeah, I finally like drew his neck and stuff, and so I think I'm gonna keep refining it. But I really enjoyed this one. I feel strangely more confident. I know that sounds silly after only like really drawing twice, you know, but I feel like I'm getting better each time. So maybe with the next one, like it'll be, you know, even better. I feel like maybe I just need to watch these more and practice. But I mean, that's the name of the game, right? Is just
it's all practice. It's all practice, you know. Oh, look, Jade added here. I got Jade added the little neck push thing. Hold on. I don't know what else. Oh, whoa. So we can kind of see. So we can see the little neck bushy thing here, and
Oh, cute.
see, much better.
Yeah.
Very nice. This is very, very well done. That's really well done. So, you know what I also advise if you're trying to learn how to draw characters of any show that you like, any show or story, take the art and trace over it. You know, and then you learn from it. If you want to learn, if you want to learn how to draw Marco, take Marco drawings, and what I would do is this. This is the last thing I'm going to show you guys. I would, yeah, that little bush on the back of the neck, it does add a lot, right? It adds to the personality a lot. So if I had tracing paper, what I would do is, and this is how I first learned to draw when I started to draw, I used to draw Mega Man characters. I used to trace over them, and you can kind of see the impact of Mega Man in my more cartoony stuff. But if I were to take Marco here, I would say, okay, I would start tracing, I would reverse engineer this drawing into the thing that I showed you earlier, into the cube and structures. I'd be like, okay, well, where's his nose? I'm like, okay, his nose is here. So I'm going to trace the contour of his face, right? So we find the contour here, and we find where his lips are, right? So now I know that's where his contours are. I start drawing his eye lines. And I can actually reverse engineer the cube from this. And don't be fooled by oops, drew this wrong. Drew this totally wrong. Hold on. Drew it totally wrong. Don't be fooled by the hair. The hair, remember, is an extension of the head. It's not structurally part of the head. Right? So you notice how the outline doesn't go into the hair, because that's not, his skull is here, right? That's where his skull is. So if I take this line here, you see, and now I'm reverse engineering him, and I can learn how to draw him. You see how he's falling within the proportions, basically?
Yeah.
So now we know where all his pieces are. And when we drew Hugo, remember Hugo's head is, whoa. Hugo's hair is obviously completely different than Marco's, but it has a, we did the pizza box. I kind of posted that little clip today. If I were to draw Hugo's hair, I would add this little pizza box right here that extends over. And it would, I mean, the proportions are wrong right now.
Right.
This is not right. This is not the actual proportions. But I would draw it, and then I would contain his hair within that cube, and it would help me keep the proportions correct. So you can reverse engineer, and then you start literally draw over the character and learn how the shapes work. That's how I learned. I used to draw the Super Mario Brothers characters. I used to trace over them a whole lot. Sonic the Hedgehog, what do you call it? Mega Man, all those like video game characters, I used to trace over them like crazy. I literally took tracing paper and traced over. You don't have to have like a fancy tablet or something to do that. Get tracing paper to do it.
Wow.
Trace over art. So
yeah, I saw how it was getting put together. I know it sounds, it sounds weird, but like putting the cube back, it's like, oh yeah, it's right there. You know, like you're looking at the product and it seems so difficult, but when you put the cube over his head, it was like, oh, there he is. You know, like, oh, there's the steps, you know.
And you can basically do the same with any, so I highly recommend you go and reverse engineer other characters that you like. And whether to do fan art or whether to learn how the artist did it. I don't know if Gabriella is still on today, but I was like obsessing over his art today, and I was like taking it apart. I was like, I love how you do this. So, like I clipped out a certain part and I sent it to him, and I was like, and I love this, and I like noticed all the little details because they're really beautiful in his art, and you can create your own style by studying other people's art and taking bits and pieces that you like and creating your own, from
Yeah.
it. So um, all right, see, and he said he even traced over drawings that he wanted. He look, I just saw that in the chat. He's still here. I thought I'd be too
Yeah.
late for him, but that's the same thing. Go and trace. Go and trace. Go and trace. It will change your life. Trace and use the cubes and use the shapes. Once I learned how to do that, it radically changed my life because I was so caught up with like freehand. I think a lot of people get caught up with freehanding artwork that
Hmm.
they don't they feel uncomfortable, and it's uncomfortable at first learning to use the shapes because it's alien, but you know it's the minute you have that breakthrough, your whole life changes as an artist. So I highly
Hmm.
recommend that. So yeah, the tracing paper is super cheap, anyways. So what do you think, Ella? Did you have a good time today with us?
Yeah, that was so fun. I mean, I can't wait to continue to learn more. I think I want to practice so that the next time that I come on, I can like you can see the difference. Like I can get better. And if you have ones that you are drawing now or later, after the stream, tag us on socials. We want to see them. We want to look at them. And yeah, I don't know, Chris, I don't know if it's too early, but did you want to maybe tease what we're going to be doing on YouTube for like if we hit certain milestones and some stuff that might be coming up? Because I mean, we're really close, and we kind of hit this bump. So I didn't know if you
Yeah,
wanted to spoil
I'll
anything.
let you do it. I'll let
Okay.
you do it.
So, what we're doing, guys, if you didn't notice, we're actually almost at 400 subscribers on our YouTube channel, which just like a month ago we were at like what 310, and
Yeah.
so we've started to grow really big. So each time we hit sort of a milestone, we're on our journey to 1,000 basically, which you guys know for YouTube is a big milestone. So each time we hit the next 100 milestone, we're gonna have like a little celebration and do some art challenges with Chris. And obviously you could play along, but it's mostly just to see Chris struggle a little bit, but also so that he can get better at art, and so we can have some more fun with that. So I won't spoil what the challenges are, but um, tell your friends, like if we get to 400 within hopefully the next couple of days, then we'll be setting up a kind of celebration live stream where we're having some fun with it, and we're just growing so fast we don't even know what to do. Like it happened so quickly, we didn't even really have time to prepare for it. So we're excited to have these milestones coming up. So yeah, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe because it helps us reach our goals and helps us get better at art because we get to see Chris do it more. So yeah, we're very excited about it, and we're so close. I mean, like today alone, I think we've gotten like 8 or 9 subscribers, and each time it gets closer, we actually get kind of nervous because we're not quite ready to hit it yet, but it's exciting.
Yes, that's exactly it, and I get it. It's exciting, and we kind of wake up and enjoy these like new folks who are coming in and seeing what we're doing, and it only adds more pressure on me to try to like draw competently. So I'm dealing with my own like insecurities, you know. So
Hmm.
look, Gabriele wants to see me struggle too. It's like I don't know why everyone wants to see me struggle
It
so
makes
much.
you a better artist, though. It makes you grow. I mean, this is a struggle for us, so I guess uh, putting you out of your element makes us feel a little bit better.
There is, I mean, the truth behind that, like joking aside, like you don't grow without the struggling, right? Like you have to go through the discomfort, and all of your favorite artists go through this at some level or another. Some of them have become so good because they've practiced and practiced and practiced, and they don't stop doing it,
Hmm.
that they don't have that they've kind of broken through that, and it's easier for them, but they still have the same struggles. So it's not like suddenly people are so amazingly good that they, you know, don't have that struggle anymore.
Yeah.
Um, Dante's asking, do you think there is something to be learned about looking at an art and copying it, not actually tracing it, just trying to follow the lines? Yeah, absolutely. I do that too. Sometimes I'll look at art and I'll be like, oh, I like that. You know, how am I gonna turn that into? How am I gonna, you know, like I see someone's art. Like I love looking at Pinterest, and I have all these Pinterest folders where I save really cool styles, and I'm like, oh, that's
Yeah.
cool. You know, and I'm at a point as in my skill that I don't need to trace, like, because I can look at it and reproduce it. Unless it's really like nuanced and complicated, I can look at it and be like, okay, I can reproduce it. But that's just because of my the level of skill I'm at now. If this was like, you know, 10 years or something, it would have been a completely different story. So um, you don't you don't have to trace. You can do eyeball it. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, well, this was fun. We had a good time with
Yeah,
you
this is
guys. I'm
also
glad you guys
fun.
had a good time doing this and for sharing your Marcos. I'm glad I was able to draw Marco competently. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna let go and let God. I was like, whatever happens, if
Yeah.
I screw up Marco today, I'm just gonna screw it up and say I just let it be. That's just
He
life.
looked good. I think I'm glad because Marco has changed a little bit.
He
So
has,
I'm glad
yeah.
that we've come to a style that we really all enjoy. Um, we need to do maybe a coloring video soon too to do coloring stuff. I don't know how I'll do it, but I'd love to follow along. I think that's really interesting.
Yeah, a
So
color one would be great. We could definitely do that one too. So, well, anyways, well, I love you guys. Ella, thank you so much. This lady right here pushes me so hard, and I'm so glad she's here because she pushes me like crazy, and I'm so glad. I don't know what I'd do without her pushing me
I
here.
wouldn't want to be anywhere else. I'm super
So
happy.
we're so happy, and I love having you guys here with me all the time. And thank you for staying up late. For those of you, my friends who are on the other side of the world, thank you for staying up so late. And I hope you guys had a good time. And we are streaming again Wednesday.
Yep.
Wednesday, okay. And I might do a pop up live on Instagram tomorrow. So, anyways, have a great night. Love you guys, and we'll talk later. Good night.
Bye.